heads up. And we'll, as soon as we have the board writing done, we'll forge ahead. Is that, I wonder if the mask is preventing myself from, I'll probably be heard more clearly.
Yeah, you might be heard more clearly if you do that.
Okay, here's a chord. And here's a resolution. What is it? Dominant seventh. Well, it's dominant seventh sound, but resolving as a dominant seventh would. Now, here's the same chord. Augmented sixth resolution. It's what I fondly call the Wilberg resolution. Do you all know who Mac Wilberg is? He's the conductor of the Mormon, or what do they call it now? Let's see, the Tabernacle Choir at Temple Square. And he's done a zillion choral arrangements, and almost all of them contain that progression. So I call it the Wilberg modulation. And so it's, if you're into writing arrangements for anyone, it's a funky thing to do. You can just turn whatever tonic you're into you can turn that into a dominant seventh chord, and then resolve it as an augmented sixth chord, and away you go.
Well, it's just like labels.
I'll do it if you want.
Yes.
I get it.
I nominate you,
Can I borrow your one?
So, please be very careful if you're borrowing markers or doing anything else. The COVID stuff is surging in the building, so we just need to really be on guard.
Here, it's
Okay, Ellie, do we have posted yet the new?
I am going to do that while we're.
She will, so it will, the complete new revision will appear on Blackboard, but this is the final page that we've handed to you, so it's really fundamentally where the changes are. Let me just point out a few things to you. Well, maybe I'll let Ellie, I'll let you work on that. Maybe by the end of the hour, that will be up so the people that are listening online can take a look at it.
And I can take a picture real quick and put them up with the.
Oh, well, why don't you do that?
Yeah. Sick. Come on, take a picture. Oh, come on, sorry. It's zooming in and out. There we go, got it.
Okay, so we'll give a second for that to be uploaded, and then we'll talk about some of the detail on this page. I've decided that what I am going to do, folks, is create what I'm gonna call a final assignment. You know, I guess some people could think it's a final exam. I don't really look at it that way. I just look at it as a final project to just focus us and give us something to discuss in our final online session. So I will have that ready for you, and we'll have to distribute it electronically. So let's look at what we're facing here. Now, next week, folks, we've got the last week that we are in person. so I've got actually sort of a reduced number of in-class activities on both Wednesday and Friday, because I want to be able to look quickly at your anthologies to see what your Roman numeral analysis of the examples looks like, and to also look at your workbook pages. I just want to lay eyes on, I mean, essentially what I'm doing is just ascertaining that you've hung in there and that you've done the work with
It's
us.
done.
It's up now?
Yep,
Okay.
it's in the chat group for everybody on Zoom.
Okay, for everyone in Zoom in chat group and others, as you're watching this online, it'll be up there. Is it up for them?
I'm doing that.
She's doing that still, so we'll just keep chatting. But absolutely following Thanksgiving, we're on Zoom, and I will send out email. And I think, I know that we've been just doing this once a week, but you've been doing a lot of stuff in the background, logging on, seeing the other class session, etc. I think we all just need to come together following Thanksgiving, and you need to join Zoom 2 days a week, because that's where we'll be, and where I'll take my computer home, and I'll be teaching from my piano at home. And those will be the Zoom sessions. I will send you the links and the invitations to that by email. But that is what's happening following Thanksgiving. And then we will do, all of this list of stuff to choke a horse basically in chapter 31, which in a way brings together most of the chromatic stuff that we have done, and then I will have on that final Friday, I will electronically distribute to you an assignment that essentially deals with a lot of chromatic harmony. Just practice to see, and then when we get together in our final session over Zoom, we will go over that, and you can score it and then email me what your score is on that assignment. Yes.
So what day is that final gathering on Zoom
Oh,
going to be?
well, wouldn't that be a good detail? That it is Tuesday, I believe, the Tuesday of finals week, from 12 to 2. Sorry about that. I was working so hard to coordinate all of this and get this to fit into our remaining sessions that I forgot that. Sorry about that.
Okay, so I have a question.
Yes.
So all my anthology is digital, and I essentially have pictures of each page that I've been marking.
And do you have a piece of technology where you can just flip from one to the other and show me?
Yeah, do you want me to do that Wednesday then?
Yes, so next Wednesday I'll need you to do that quickly
Okay.
for me. And I'll need, did you say your workbook, is your workbook in hard copy or?
Yeah.
Okay,
It's just
so
the anthology.
just have those things so that we can quickly look. Essentially, I just need to see that you've hung in the saddle here, and I'm very pleased with the participation and where we've gone, but I need to make sure that you're not slipping by without doing the work. I'm willing to give good grades to everybody in the class. This is not a what am I trying to say? This is not in order to strike you down or punish anybody in any way. I mean, I'm happy with what we've done, but I do need to make sure, because some of you haven't participated all that often in discussions or on the board, and I just need to make sure that you've actually been doing something. Because if you haven't, I'm going to have to adjust the grade accordingly. But I mean, that's not rocket science. You would figure that out on your own already, I'm sure. So I'm willing to give everybody a good grade, but I just need to make sure that you have been with us. So If you've got a lot of stuff missing, you got a week. You got a week to bring it together, folks. I just have to see evidence that you've been doing what we are discussing in class. So, Friday people, is that clear? And people on Zoom, I'm hoping I'm giving you enough warning, and this is certainly not the first time you've heard about my needing to spot check anthologies and workbooks. I mean, I've been saying that all the way along. So, if you let things slip, I'm sorry, I may have just made a miserable week for you. But I didn't do it, you did it. So, because I've been asking for the work to be kept up all the way along. And then we will do our best, starting after Thanksgiving, we will do our best to just wrap things up and review, and then I just feel like doing this final activity will maybe make it feel a little bit more like we've kind of got a cap on it. And then that is what we will discuss during the final exam period on Zoom. So, anybody have any questions about that plan moving forward? Can't believe I left the date off of that. It is, our exam session is Tuesday. So, also now, just in your thinking, please plan to join us both Wednesday and Friday following Thanksgiving. Okay? Very good. Now, I think we got a lot of good stuff on the board to look at. So let's go over here to the far end of the board. We've got 1A. And we've got, we were given a Neapolitan 6 as an example of spelling the chords. And then the next one is to spell an Italian 6. And we are in the key of G minor with these. So, spelling an Italian 6 in G minor. Steps. What are the notes we know we have to have in an Italian 6?
Scale degree 1, augmented 4th.
Okay, so we've got to have, we've got to have the tonic. We've got to have on the bottom flat 6, and on the top we've got to have sharp 4. So you're going to need a C sharp, Ian, on that C.
I watched a YouTube video that gave a really funny mnemonic for knowing how, or remembering the scale degrees.
Yes?
And he said, do
Speak
filet.
right up so that the people online can hear you too.
It was do filet, like a fillet, like a steak, but dough, like a deer. So just say do filet, and then you know the three.
The dough filet, the dough
Uh-huh.
filet.
Oh,
Yeah,
nice.
I've had people in my graduate class this semester that did augmented 6 chord spelling with solfege too. So it is a way. It was new to me. I had not really had that approach, but apparently that is something people are now doing. What chord, folks, is the Italian 6 based on?
Class 6.
Well, it is the way we spell it, but if you were to do Roman numeral identity, the root of the chord would be C sharp, right? And C sharp would be what scale degree in G minor? Sharp 4. So we would have sharp 4 and then the rest of the chord. And then invert it and you've got it. So it's based off of minor 4 with the altered root. Now, the next one they want us to spell is the French 6th. The French 6th is based off of what chord?
The 2 chord?
It is based off of the 2 chord, and the 2 chord, when you've got a leading tone in it, is, what would we call that? Well, it is, think about a 2-chord, a 2/7 chord with you know, it's the 5 of 5. And then you put flat 6 in that mixture, and then invert it so that flat 6 is on the bottom, and you get the French. So you got flat 6, G, A, and C sharp. German 6th. How do we get German 6th? Where does that come from? In terms of Roman numerals. We've got sharp 4 as the root, and then a major triad above it. Because if we did 4/7 in the minor, we'd have a minor 7th, and then raise the root, and then we get the German. So the German ends up being, if we put flat 6 on the bottom, it ends up being flat 6 and a major triad on flat 6 plus sharp 4 on the top. You have a comment?
Yeah, so like, I know that like, it's spelled differently from like a dominant 7 chord.
Yes.
But like, could it ever function as more of a dominant 7 chord, or does like
It absolutely can, and if we, for example, in C, well, let's take the one we're on right now. In G minor, if we take the one that we've got and think of the top note as a D flat instead of a C sharp, we have the 5/7 of what chord? It's an E flat dominant 7th, which is dominant 7th of what note? Just say it plain, A flat. And then let's go one step further. A flat is what in G minor? So this is, I think I may have mentioned this, and forgive me for repeating myself, but as a kid, this is how I found augmented 6 chords. I knew that they were 5/7 of the Neapolitan. And so I would just quickly spell the Neapolitan in a key, and then spell its 5/7 and switch the top note. That was how I quickly got German 6 chords. Isn't it kind of odd to think about all these interesting relationships, that all seem to reside within the neighborhood of a key? It's pretty, I think it's pretty amazing, all the things that chromaticism produces for us. Let's look at B now. This is the key center of E minor. And we've got to start with, asked for the Neapolitan 6. So what is the Neapolitan in E minor? And folks, those of you who are challenged by one clef or the other, notice that we're in bass clef here. So E minor is what chord is the Neapolitan in E minor? It's an F major chord. So what we do is put an F major chord in first inversion. So we get A natural, C natural, and F natural. That's the Neapolitan 6. Okay, now let's go to spelling the Italian 6th. Sharp 4 is what note? A sharp. So it'll be a sharp 4 chord in there. So we invert it so that flat 6 is on the bottom. So we get C natural, E natural, and A sharp. That is the Italian 6th. We all together on that? Now let's spell the French 6th. So just starting with this whole idea of the 5 of 5, the 5 chord in E minor is B, right? So what would be the 5/7 of B? F sharp, A sharp. And so if we use flat 6 in that, we've got the French 6th, and then we put it in the inversion that we want to with flat 6 on the bottom and sharp. There is the French 6. And finally, the German 6. We start with flat 6, spell a major triad, and put sharp 4 on top. Can you see that's a really, at least in the bass clef there, and Ian, if you had kind of spaced the bottom notes, all the notes that are in the G minor, all the notes that are on a line, you can see how they have a look. These chords have a look. Can you notice that? The Italian has the pair on the bottom, then the sharp 4. The French has a cluster, and then sharp 4, or it's kind of 2 and 2 in its look. And the German has the triad, and then the sharp 4 on the top. So they have a distinctive look too, and that's actually quite helpful when we're doing analysis in the anthology, because you can kind of, you can kind of recognize that structure. Let's come over here to C. We're back in the treble clef, and we're in the tonal center of F. So a Neapolitan in F is what triad? A G flat triad. And so we've got, inverting it to the 6 inversion, B flat, D flat, G flat. That is absolutely correct. Now the Italian 6, we've got, if we were basing it off of 4, we would have, the 4 chord would be what? A B flat chord, right? And if we put our appropriate alterations in, flat 6 and sharp 4, we get the Italian 6. And now French, and also notice, these are just little kind of things that we can do. The French 6 it looks exactly like the Italian 6, except you just add a note right there. So you have this major second in the middle. That added note is what? Yeah, it's 2. If we have a major 2 dominant 7th, that would be based on G, because it's got to be the 5 of 5. And then we just invert it appropriately and plug flat 6 into it. All right, German 6th, again, triad on the bottom, so a major triad on flat 6, which would be a D flat triad, and then the sharp 4th scale degree. All very good on 1C. 1D, now we're in A major, so Neapolitan is going to be based on what triad? A B flat major triad. So here we have that in first inversion, D, F natural, and B flat. That's absolutely correct on the board. Now, if we go to the Italian 6, if we start with flat 6, a third above it, and then sharp 4 above that, that's absolutely correct, what's on the board. And in the middle, we just add that note to it. And then also, if we go to the German 6 again, major triad plus sharp 4. Now, let me think about, is that a natural or a flat on your C?
Looks like it does.
Oh, I have a natural on my book, on my paper.
Yeah, it needs to be a
I
natural.
was looking at the wrong line when I wrote it the first time. I came back and fixed it.
Well,
It's supposed to be a-
yeah, so there we go.
Natural.
We do need that natural in there.
I got it out here.
You got it right there. Okay, good. Now we're good on that. So we've got everything on the backboard covered. Let's come up here now for number 2. So we've got, our first example was given to us, a French sixth in D minor. And now number 2 is an Italian sixth in A. So A major, where is flat 6 in A major? And folks, just understand, I'm doing it a little different with each one just to illustrate all the many ways that we can get there. So now I'm going to start by thinking about flat 6. Flat 6 in A major is what note? F natural. So that's going to be on the bottom of an Italian sixth. So we build a major third on top of that, and then put the sharped 4th scale degree, which is D sharp. Now we've got an Italian sixth. Okay, let's go on number 3 to E flat major. We're going to try and spell a German sixth. In E flat major, what is flat 6? C flat. Okay, so let's build a major triad on C flat. C flat, E flat, G flat, and then sharp 4 on top. So we have a natural on the A to make it raised. Everybody with us? All good? All right. Number 4 is B minor. We're asked to spell an Italian sixth. So B minor, what is the 6th, or in other words, the flat 6th scale degree? G, it would be G.
Yeah, that's the thing that I found really confusing when I was reading the book, the difference between a major scale versus the minor, and it was the solfege that actually was what clued me in on that, because
Yeah.
for the life of me, I couldn't figure out what was going wrong with the flat 6 versus
Yeah.
the regular 6, and it ended up being the minor scale.
Right, so-
And the solfege was the lay versus the la, which was solved it for me.
Good. Just remember, the flat 6 is always on board in the minor scale. We don't have to change anything. So in minor, start with the 6th scale degree, and then build a major third on top of that, and then sharp the 4th scale degree, and put that on the top. So G, B, and E sharp. That's the Italian sixth. Now finally, at number 5, let's spell the French sixth in F sharp minor. So in F sharp minor, our 6th scale degree is what? D. That's already flat 6. So we're going to start with that, and we're going to build a major third above that, and then we're going to sharp 4 of the scale, and then put the G sharp in the middle, so it's D, F sharp, G sharp, B sharp. All correct there. Now let's go over here with, starting with number 6. We are asked in the key of C sharp minor to spell an Italian sixth. So 6th scale degree in C sharp minor, A, right? So A is flat 6. And folks, remember we're in the bass clef here. So build a major third above A, which would be C sharp, and then sharp 4 on top, F double sharp. So there it is, Italian 6 and C sharp. Now let's, for number 7, let's go back to F major. I think we were in F major sometime a while back, yeah. Okay, F major, we want a French sixth. So let's go at this the other way. What is the 5 of 5 in F major? Needs to be what chord? A G7 chord, doesn't it? And flat 6 in F major is what? D flat. So then we just need to invert that chord twice, and we're there. We're D flat, F, so 2, and then E, D. So it's like sort of interlacing major thirds makes up the French sixth. And it has the look, 2 and 2. And there we go, we're good on that. And so 8, we're asked for the German sixth in A flat. So what note is going to be at the bottom of the German sixth? Flatted sixth scale degree, which will be F flat. And build a major triad on that, F flat, A flat, and C flat. Major triad on flat 6, and then sharp 4 on the top.
So that should have a flat on the C then.
Yes, it should. I was thinking that was a natural on D,
Yeah, I
but,
forgot to.
but we don't have the C flat in the key signature. There we go, that's better. So, now turn that into a dominant 7th chord. F flat, A flat, C flat, and this will be E double flat. And that's the 5/7 of what note? Well, it is, I'm going for it, but what the Neapolitan here is what chord?
B double.
B double flat. I know, I'm just
Okay.
Like,
tricky, aren't I?
the gears turn.
Yeah, that did make the wheels spin in the brain a little bit. That's why Schubert, instead of writing a whole in a little waltz that he has, instead of writing the whole middle section in F flat major, he writes it in what key? Logical for reading and ease. Write it in E. Do it in harmonically so that the musician can read it. But know that honestly and truly, is that truly an E major in that piece? No, it's an F flat. But that is just the kind of trick we employ. So now to number 9, G major, we want to spell an Italian 6 chord. So in the major key, we're going to have to find flat 6, which is E flat, build a major 3rd on top of that, and then sharp 4, which is, okay, you're missing a flat over here.
Okay.
In the major key, we gotta create flat 6. In the minor key, it's already there. Yep. And now finally 10. In C minor, we want a German 6. So 6th scale degree is A flat in C minor, already there. Build a major triad on that, and then sharp 4 scale degree on top. And now double checking this, if you turn it into a dominant 7th, the G flat on the top, that's dominant 7th of what note? D flat, which is Neapolitan. So there's all the myriad ways to get there. Let's look at 2B now. It's on the board. So 2B, we've got an Italian 6 spelled on the first one. Now in E minor, we've got a German 6 spelled. So E minor, again, 6th scale degree is C, right? So there it is, major triad spaced out, and then sharp 4 on top. Now we've got, in F minor, we've got there's major third above it, and sharp 4, and a third below sharp 4. Okay, and then G minor, we want the Italian sixth, or is that G minor? So we've got the 6th scale degree, major third above that. Then we've got the remainder of the triad. So we've got a doubling thereof. And that would be a doubling that reflects what? Strength of the key. And then sharp 4 on top of that. And then finally, in B minor, we want the French 6, so B minor has what as its 6th scale degree? G, and remember it's already on board, that's flat 6, but it's only really flat 6 if we're thinking in the major key. It's just 6th scale degree, a major third on top of that, and then sharp 4 is E sharp, and then we've got this spaced out now, but that is French 6, and you can hear that characteristic sound. If we just put it all in a cluster, this is the chord. And move that note, that C sharp, move that up a half step, we get the German, then down a half step, we get the French, and then leave it out, we get the Italian. And I can't remember if it's in the anthology, but there are some incredibly wonderful, tricky examples where you get all 3 versions within a measure, because you get some moving notes in the inner voices. Isn't it wonderful? The wonderful world of augmented 6 chords. Let's go to the anthology, please. Now, I have that for today, we are starting with number 270 in the anthology, and this is in chapter 22, whose title is Augmented 6, Submediant Degree as Lowest Note. So, normal inversion that we expect. In other words, the 6th scale degree is the lowest note. So here is the Bach. Italian 6th in there. If you blink, you miss it.
Is it essentially what looks like a passing tone on the
Yes.
measure?
Yes, it is on the 2nd beat of the first full measure. There it is. Are there any more in this example? Nope, there aren't. Okay, so let's take a look at the Beethoven bagatelle. Classic resolution out to 5. So the Italian 6th is where? 3rd bar, 3rd beat. And it resolves exactly the way we expect an Italian 6th to to resolve. In the tenor and the bass, you're going absolutely out to 5. So, right? D is 5 in G minor, right? Okay. Isn't that wonderful? What happens if I don't let it be the Italian 6? Let's take out the C sharp and hear the difference. It still works, doesn't it? But with it, it's just like, ooh, it's like ooey gooey caramel in the middle of that phrase. You know, it's just wonderful. All right. Let me get my pages set here. All right, this is true sight reading. So this is Beethoven, the Coriolan Overture. Coriolan? That doesn't seem right.
I think you're right.
What I want to say is Coriolan Overture.
It's definitely not that.
It's not that.
No.
Okay, it just seems strange. What key are we in this piece? We're in where?
C minor.
C minor. All right. We have kind of delayed gratification there to get out to 5. So any mystery about where that augmented 6 chord is?
Is it just the one at the end?
Yep, that's it.
That was a lot for that.
That was a lot for that. It's kind of an interesting example otherwise, but because you've got this tonic note, a pedal point, and then you zap a minor 4, then you zap another diminished 7th chord, which is the diminished 7th chord, right, in the key.
So it's not in measure 11?
In measure 11. No,
Okay.
that is, here's the sound of that chord. F sharp is a leading tone to G, so this is a secondary diminished 7th chord, and then 6, 4, resolve first, and this one follows it finally out to the dominant. Everybody with me on that? Yeah? Okay. Now we've got, how far are we going today? Just 275. Okay. So this little Tchaikovsky children's piece. Key center of this is D minor. So let's just project out ahead and see what we expect to find. In D minor, an Italian 6 chord would be spelled B flat, D, and G sharp. So let's see if we find one. it out this time. So I have to take out the G sharp to take it out. I'm gonna play the piece without the G sharp now. It works fine, doesn't it? But it's such a delicious little thing. Dot, eat. Yes, sir.
So with the, like with it playing around with an E in the melody, would that then make it a French six?
Well, you are brilliant. Stand and take a bow. The answer is absolutely, it does. Because there it is. You get your gold star for the day, and I'm sorry that I can't activate the candy box because of COVID, but you get one. That's good. Excellent, excellent.
I guess I'm still confused on where it is.
Where it is?
Yeah.
Measure five.
It's in the fifth measure.
And
And he's pointing out that the French is created by that movement in the soprano. Yes, sir.
And then the next time that the augmented six happens in measure seven,
Uh-huh.
it has an F sharp or an F and an E. So I was wondering if it's like if those are just passing tones or if it's supposed to be a French version.
Well, we got both to create French. I think that just qualifies as a lower neighbor there. All right. Isn't that a tricky little example? That's a good one. I'm glad that popped up today, and I'm glad that you are awake enough to have noticed that. Well done. Very, very good. Now, let's see. I don't know if I'm up to the score reading or not. Let's see where 275 goes. Oh, sight reading city. All right, I'm gonna try 270. Let's see. It's those dang viola players.
You actually have a viola in the room now?
Dang viola players, stand up and take a bow for the trouble you caused.
you know who you all are.
Okay, let's just, can we, I'm going to do my best. So that is a D in the viola. I'll try. Well, there it is, right there, because we're in what key?
F major? No, wait.
The B.
We're in B flat, and the minute we hit that in bar 15, or 16, the minute we hit that G flat and a sharp E, we're there. And then those two, the second violin and the cello, they resolve out to F, which is the dominant. Okay, is that enough part reading today? Anybody, I shouldn't shy away from it. I don't know if we're doing this here, but there, in my degree programs, I had to be able to read a quartet in parts. I also had to be able to realize a figured bass at sight. you know, this is chamber keyboard playing, and I don't know, I guess I just lived in a crazy time where they demanded quite a bit.
I had that.
Ellie had the same experience. When I arrived here in 2007, they had just gotten rid of 2 semesters of class piano, and I was a little bit horrified. I guess there had come down a mandate from on high that they had to reduce credits, and why they chose to take the piano study away from the music majors, I don't know. You know, to me, that was not a very wise place to cut credits. And it's in its own way, not necessarily for pianists, but in its own way for other majors, it's caused trouble ever since. Because that you end up without, you know, sufficient experience and sufficient instructional time to really master what needs to be mastered. And in all of that, we kind of seem to cut the keyboard harmony for piano majors out too. We don't seem to have that anymore. So I will just say, I tried. Repeatedly, I tried to fix that, but I was at every turn I was outvoted. So don't blame me if you're feeling a little inadequate or insecure about what you do at the keyboard. I tried. Okay, so finally, 275, we're in is this C minor? Yes, yes.
Okay. I don't know, I feel like our Italian 6 is in F. We get to it.
Well, let's see. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Okay, I gotta get my clefs going here. Oh, whoops, sorry. Okay, so this is pretty interesting. Where do we finally get an augmented 6 chord?
Second to last measure.
Yeah, the last full measure is where we get it. D flat and B sharp. I mean B natural, sorry. And that resolves just the way we want out to, and I see why you're saying this seems like a little key layer in F, because that would be the augmented 6 in F, and I guess our key signature is in F here. What are we doing with all that chromaticism in the middle?
Circle it, exclude it from your analysis.
What did you actually?
Just circle the whole thing and exclude it from your.
Oh, you just say, whatever.
Yeah, only the time.
How about calling it a flat 6 festival?
Yeah.
It's a little flat 6 festival, D flat major,
Flat 6 Fiesta.
a flat 6 fiesta. Oh, Beethoven, I'll tell you. Okay, my friends, next week, what are you gonna come prepared? We'll do some board work, and then what am I going to do?
Check everything.
Check work. So please come prepared for that. All right, and I hope you have a good week, stay safe. You know, I heard the governor on the radio coming in this morning. We're just not doing too well in Idaho. And yet, I don't know, I mean, I don't wanna become political here, but it is perplexing to me why our numbers can surge and we still have such incredible resistance to mask and face covering wearing. But for some reason, there are some people that just have strong feelings about that. But please, don't exercise strong feelings and put yourselves at risk. Please stay safe. I proceeded that with a please. I asked nicely. Please stay safe. Take care.